How are you doing, everyone? Andre Pillow, player development professional here at Blythefield Country Club and founder of DNA Golf Instruction. Today I want to talk about something that's very, very important and prevalent in most sports, but definitely in golf because of the slow nature of how we play. Pre-shot routine. If you guys see where I'm at, I call this the box, or the action box. This is where all of that information that we gathered will come through, and we're not thinking about much when we're in this position and we're getting ready to pull the trigger, okay? When we do all that thinking and processing, you may have noticed on the PGA Tour when the caddy and the player are standing next to each other. They're normally not right over the golf ball, are they? They're typically back a little bit. So I like to think of this as the action box and that as the think box. And as we talk about pre-shot routine, I think there's three things that are important. Mainly, just like a conversation with the caddy and the player, the process or the thought that you're going to accomplish, that's one thing, okay? We want to get some practice swings in there and visualize the shot as another thing. And thirdly, when we're over the ball, we only want to have one or two thoughts and we're thinking more about execution at that point. So those are the three things that I like to think of in relation to pre-shot routine in the think box. So if I was getting ready to hit a shot that way, if I had my rangefinder, I'd gun it, figure out what my yardage is. This is where I'm checking the wind. And I'm making decisions about what I want to do at this point, okay? Most golfers, especially as we improve our skill set, I may have a 140-yard shot, but I may have three different ideas in my head in relation to approaching that shot. I have to pick the one that I want to go with, and I have to stick with it once I get over the golf ball. So let's say I selected my club, selected my flight in the direction of the shot that I want to hit, got all that gathered now. This is the point where we would see that caddy walk away because the player knows what he wants to do. He has his calculations figured out. So this is where I get into my pre-shot routine, and I think of Tiger Woods. Tiger would always take his two shots behind the ball, or two swings behind the ball, envisioning the shot, getting a certain feel element of the shot, and getting the last few thoughts in, okay, before he steps up and starts to think more about execution at this point, okay? So those three steps are very, very important. And if you see golf right now, they're showing a lot of the old tournaments. That's the process, especially under pressure. You'll see Tiger have certain conversations. Phil's a great one to watch. Jordan Spieth's another one, a very vocal guy with his caddy. But you can see what they're talking about, even arguments sometimes, when they're in that think box type of mentality. Once they made a selection, you're going to see the player take his practice swings either back there, or some do it right here. A lot of amateurs do it right next to the golf ball to get a better feel of the shot there, right? But then what do we see the player do even if he's taking his practice swings here? He steps back, behind the golf ball to get a better feel of that shot. Maybe takes a deep breath. And then we're going to go into that shot, and we're going to try to execute, okay? Once again, we see this in other sports. For me, you've heard me say this before, a field goal kicker. I think about how they go through the process, even waiting based on the time, the conditions for that last pressure kick to maybe win or tie the game. They're already going through a process of thinking what hash mark it might be on, how far it might be, the wind. They're doing a lot of that prior to being out there. But once they get out there, they'll probably make those checks again. So what happens sometimes? The other team calls timeout to ice them, give them more time to think about it, right? But they have a process that's very, very identifiable, similar to a golfer. And, they'll come up and they'll envision it, and a lot of times when they call that timeout, even when they're in a position to kick, what do? Timeout, plays dead. They still go through the motion because they want to practice what they were thinking about. So when the real time comes up next, they feel more prepared. It's all about being prepared, okay? And feeling very comfortable to execute the shot that you plan on hitting, all right? Now, we do have to use some logic with this. That calculation part, we have to be honest with ourselves. If we are trying to hit over a tree, but we don't have the ability to hit over that tree, or if we're trying to hit a big slice and we play more of a draw or a hook, then we need to think about that before we make our shot selection. That's the shot selection calculation part of this. After we do that, we go through our practice swings, and then we're going to try to execute based on that calculation that we made. Okay? So just something to think about, and I'm bringing this out now. Once again, I know we're trapped inside, but I'm bringing it out now because when we're inside and we are in a position to do a lot of reps, sometimes we forget about the thought process and what we can do to better that process to be more accurate even in practicing. Okay? So don't just sit there and chip 100 balls. Maybe take a couple of practice swings, develop a feel for the shot that you're hitting, and try to work in this calculation, pre-shot routine, execution mode. And hopefully that has us prepared once we get out there and play some golf. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.